Hey, it's Chris from the Charity Board Gamer, and I'm here to talk about being the best city planner in Zoned Out from Gray Fox Games and Keith Rentz.
The Charity Board Gamer.
In Zoned Out, you are going to be a city planner trying to build a vast metropolis of residential, commercial, and industrial zones. But beware, with each card that you place to rezone your area, you may also hurt yourself with abandoned houses and parking lots. At the beginning of the game, 4 city blocks will be placed in the middle of the table, and the downtown quadrants piece will go on the middle spot, covering up 4 parking lots. Then you will deal out 6 secret objective cards. 1 will go to each player, and the rest will go face up on the table. Each card will be scored by everybody, even the ones that are given to the individual players. The ones given to the individual players are a way to help them find an edge to possibly gain more points than the others. On your turn, you will take one of your 3 cards and place it, also known as rezoning, onto an already placed card covering no more than 3 blocks. The zones are as follows: residential zones, commercial zones, and industrial zones. Each zone also has wild blocks, such as libraries, stadiums for the commercial zones, and train depots for the industrial zones. When you rezone your card, you will place your city planner on one of the 3 zones. The larger the grouping of certain zones results in the larger amount of points. When you have finished your turn, you will draw back up to 3 cards. Then the next player will do their turn. At the start of your turn, you may trade up to 3 of your cards for up to 3 cards from the card pile. When you do this, you must take a redraw token. These tokens will count as negative points at the end of the game. The more you have, the more points you'll lose. When your city planner leaves one of your zones and goes to a new zone, you will develop on your previous zone. At this point, you will score for the zone that you were previously on. First, you will count how many blocks were related to the zones that you had previously been on. The more blocks related to that zone will result in higher scoring. For example, 1 city block is equal to 1 victory point, and 9 city blocks is equal to 45 victory points. After scoring for the city blocks in your zone, you will then score for parks, museums, abandoned houses, and parking lots. Museums are worth 2 additional points, parks an additional 1 point, abandoned houses are negative 2 points, and parking lots are negative 1 point. If any of these blocks that are connected to your zone are connected to the same positive or negative value, you will add or subtract that total to your victory point score. For example, if an abandoned house is next to my commercial zone, and right beside that abandoned house is a parking lot, I will suffer the consequences of negative 3 points. The same is true if a park were beside a museum which was next to my commercial zone. I would also get 3 additional points. Once you have scored, you will take your development pieces and place them on the scored zone. 1 piece for each density on the city block. For example, 1 development piece would go on a city block with a density of 1. 2 development pieces for a density of 2, and 3 development pieces for a density of 3. Your wild space's density will depend on the density of the city block beside it. For example, if your library was between a residential block with a density of 1 and a residential block with a density of 3, you may apply 3 development pieces to that library. After developing, you will take one of your development pieces and put it on one of the quadrants in the middle of downtown. This is part of the skyscraper. The more pieces of the skyscraper you have, the better chances of scoring at the end of the game. The end of the game is triggered when there are no more cards to draw, or a player has played all their development pieces. Each other player, excluding the one that triggered the end of the game, gets to take 1 final turn before end game scoring. Starting with the player who triggered at the end of the game, the secret objective cards will be revealed and scored one at a time. Then, the face-up cards will be scored. After that, you will subtract victory points from the redraw tokens. Remember, the more redraw tokens you have, the more points you'll lose. Finally, each skyscraper is scored based on which player constructed the most floors, and the most will get you 7 victory points, second most will get you 5, third most 3, and in case there's a fourth place, they will receive 1 point. Everybody will then total up their victory points, and whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game is the best city planner and the winner. Our family really liked this game, part of it because of how easy and simple it is to play. You lay down the card, and then at certain points you can actually stack these beautiful little pieces on. And they're nice. They've got this nice little indent to them, and they stack fairly well. And our youngest, Elijah, he loves stacking things. It doesn't matter whether it's money, meeples, any piece of any game, he's stacking. So here's an actual game where he can just go ahead and throughout each turn have a chance to stack pieces. But we really enjoyed this game, and we hope that you'll give Zoned Out from Gray Fox Games and Keith Rentz a try.